Listen. Short story long.
Welcome.
It could take your whole life.
Preach.
Develop clarity.
Second, patience.
If it scared you, you should probably do it.
Whatever you think you don't have, you have something else in its place.
Listen. Short story long.
Go, Woody, go.
Preach.
Listen.
Welcome.
Coach, welcome to the pod.
Hey, I appreciate you having me.
I'm excited,
Really
man.
appreciate it.
This is one of my, I'm going to be one of my favorites, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of
appreciate
your
it.
leadership style.
Oh, good.
So I want to wrap my head around how you even got to what we know you as, the coach, on the show. You're from LA,
Yep.
born and raised.
Compton, California, yep.
What was childhood like?
The only white cat from Compton, so, try to put it together. You either gang banged or you played sports.
Yeah.
So those were the two types that were respected, you know what I mean? So you did one or the other. So I chose to tell people all the time, make a right or a left at the stop sign, you have a choice. So I chose to make a right, man, and, hopefully I've helped, 220 plus student athletes not travel that same path. So
Yeah.
hopefully the path I traveled allowed me to help others down the line.
Yeah. Do you have brothers or sisters?
I got a brother, man. I'm the only one from my mom, but my dad had two sons prior to my mom. So one of them I talked to, he's in the Air Force. He's been in the Air Force since high school.
Yeah.
So I talked to him. He's out in Montana, but that's it.
Yeah. And then growing up as the only white kid in your neighborhood, what did that look like? Like, do you get picked on for that? Do you get, what's that look like as a kid?
Nah, it's funny. We were just talking to Howard Stern's show, man. He was talking about he grew up in a all-black neighborhood and got beat up and stuff. And so, I was a little different, I guess. But I wasn't getting beat up. It was a different environment. I grew up with those guys, and they, I was raised by black women as well. They'd walk me to the liquor store. They, right, wrong, or indifferent, they taught me how to hustle and, get my stick of bubble gum, so to speak, without anyone knowing, man. But so, it was just, respect's earned, respect's given, man. And, I think real recognizes real. And growing up as a youngster there, man, shoot, my street where I grew up on, my dad grew up some, 35, 40 years earlier. It was all white then. But Pete Rozelle was my neighbor, who's probably made the NFL what it is today. Yeah. Commissioner. Duke Snyder was a Dodger legend. There's so many people, man, that's came out of that town and that area. Venus Serena Williams. I mean, all the rappers, obviously. Anthony Anderson, Todd Bridges grew up on that same street. We all grew up on the same street.
Is Baron Davis from?
Baron, he's not from that area, but James Harden grew up over there. I mean, after me, obviously. Went to the same high school, actually.
Got it.
But he's after me. But yeah, so it's a product of my environment, I like to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy to me how many, I've thought about this before, how many successful people are from Compton. And I think Compton is the epitome of you go one way or the other because I don't know, this is just what I've gathered is it's tough over there and it'll make you sort of choose your destiny. But at the same time, you do have examples of other people who have made it out and you are close to LA. You're close to a lot of shit.
No doubt.
But it seems like the ultimate example of choose which way you're going to go is being from that area.
No doubt. I tell my players, man, you're going to come to, the crossroads, man, and, that stop sign's going to hit you. And, make a left, you make a right.
Yeah.
And if you have a strong personality and you're that alpha guy or girl, even if you make that left, a lot of people will follow you. So right, wrong, or indifferent. So I try to get them all to make a right because, they still, people follow strong personalities, and the strong personality doesn't necessarily mean he's leading you down the right path either. We had a lot of people turn left that were great people, but ended up, not making it because of that turn. So it's crucial.
Why do you think you made the right turn? Do you think there was someone you followed at that time, or?
Nah, man, I think we all, when we grow up, man, I tell my players, man, and people laugh and shit because I tell them how it is, but, there's a certain age where you grow hair on your nuts, man, and you know the difference between right and wrong. And I wasn't gonna be this soft ass following type of dude. And I grew up, was raised by probably the biggest dope dealer in United States history. You know what I mean? And so, being raised by guys like that and seeing those type of guys and knowing, it's easy to make that left, man. And I said, I'm gonna be a leader, man. And leaders create more leaders. They don't create more followers, man. That's the true definition. And they, so I said, you know what? I'm gonna try to help folks out. And I wasn't gonna be that guy that smoked dope and or slung it or gangbanged or whatever. So I knew them all and we were cool, but I wanted to do sports and go another route.
Yeah. And now that you work with so many, because I'm once again fascinated by this, especially doing this type of podcast and this type of content, like now you work with so many kids that are almost at that same stop sign, right? You've seen it hundreds of times. Why do you think some people just can't go the right way? I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of people with a lot of talent that have every reason to go the right way. Why do you think that is?
Weak-minded, man. I mean, people want to be a part of the fad, man. They want to stay, keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, man. And I just think it's different culture now, man. It's different generation. They all want to be cute and do the thing that social media says to do, or smartphones, or video games, or whatever, man. I think we've become, as a nation, we've become more obese. We've become lazy. We've become we've learned to expect things instead of work for them, and it's became it's created soft asses, man, create hard heads, and I think that's what's happened, man. And it ain't the kids that have changed, in my opinion. It's the coaching, it's the mentoring, it's the parenting. That's what's changed. It's not the kids. The kids ain't different. They still coming out the womb the same way. It's the leeway that they get and the ass kissing that they get from the grown folks.
Yeah, that's wild. It seems like it's such a hot topic right now, like this whole participation trophy thing, and nobody loses. And like, man, I don't want to reiterate what everyone else is already saying, but it just seems like you're setting young people up to get the shit kicked out of them in actual life.
Yeah, no question about it, man. It's a result-oriented life we live, man. Like, your business is result-oriented. You got to keep up with who you keep up with, or you got to outdo who you got to outdo. I got to out-recruit my opponents. I got to get my kids graduated. I got to get them scholarships. I got to either win or we lose the game. And there's no gray area in what I do. Yeah. So it's result-oriented, and that's why I am how I am, because whispering sweet nothings is not going to get my broken kid. That's what I have, make no mistake. Yeah. We're not going to get my broken kid to where he could not get himself, which is the definition of a coach. Yeah. Get you where you could not get yourself. Yep. And that's why I do what I do.
Yeah, I don't feel like, especially the type of world that you live in, be it football, be it some, kids going through trouble and stuff like that, like there's just no way you could do it softly.
Nah, because they get yelled at by their mothers worse than I yell at them. Yeah. People don't
and
realize
that. The shit they say to each other is so, man. You know what I mean?
And that's why on the show you don't see my kids calling females the B word and saying the N word a lot, and they sagging their pants. And the coaches that come, the D1 coaches that recruit our kids, everyone in America, by the way, we were the highest recruited JUCO in the country. They knew, my kids knew they knew because they were taught that I taught them every single day is an interview. And that's in my book. And, it's one of those deals where every single day is an interview for you, for me, for everybody, no matter if you're on campus or if you're on set or if you're recruiting or if you're in Walmart. Somebody that is a CEO of a Fortune 500 company could be watching you, how you are dressed, act accordingly. So every day is an interview. I preach it, I teach it, and, I think that those things are kind of missing nowadays, and people don't understand it, and they're expecting, just give me this, give me that. Yeah. And if you don't do it, then, okay, nowadays in my business, the kids want to transfer. And, you have kids go to 4 high schools in 4 years. It's crazy.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is there's been a lot of articles about cell phones, and we mentioned cell phones, and, like, even there's been articles about, like, it causing problems in NBA locker rooms, and where the teams aren't as connected anymore because they just go straight to their phone. You've been doing this for a while. Have you noticed, like, a super increase and change in what
Oh, yeah.
phones have done to this whole thing?
No doubt, man. It's we wouldn't allow them in class because we made our kids sit in the front row. Coaches would monitor, make sure they're not on their phones, or we take them. It's the same thing in meetings, man. Because back in the day, man, our locker room and football lockers across America were intimate settings, probably the most intimate setting you could think of, where what was shared in there stayed in there.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's become internet superhighway, man, of trying to blast the coach out or the player or put a video out there on social media that shows something, especially like teachable moments when you're trying to teach the team that, okay, I just cut Johnny because he stole at Walmart, and now we cut him, and I'm going off on the team, and someone films me, you know what I mean, and they put it on social media, and then I'm the asshole. So, like, it's just, it's sad, man, it's become that, but it's taught that, and that's what's being taught at the house or on their respective campuses or wherever, youth authority, whatever they're in, youth Pop Warner football, whatever they're doing, it's just not being taught anymore. As far as I don't believe these kids are being taught to be the CEO of themselves. They're putting the future in everyone else's hands, and it's unfortunate because they need to be told the truth, and usually my truth hurts, I guess.
Yeah.
So
You feel like, because for me, I'm going to be honest, I felt like it took me a little bit. It took me probably till like 26 to really truly grasp that I was in charge of myself. And I kind of had this dream life in the sense that I'm my own boss. I work for myself. That's all great. It looks good on paper. But when you actually truly grasp that you're 100% responsible for yourself and your own outcomes, and you have no one to blame. You don't have a boss to complain that, oh, he didn't promote me, he didn't whatever. That was a big deal for me. That was truly accepting that and working on that was a big deal for me. Do you feel like you learned that really young, coming from the environment you came from?
Yeah, man, I knew that when I was like 8.
Yeah.
Because, I knew I couldn't put my future in someone else's hand, and it could have been the teacher in class, it could have been the youth counselor, it could have been the cop that told us, not to make that left, you know what I mean? That was good with the inner city kids in the hood right there. There were some police there that were good with us, and they knew that, don't go down this path, because cops wouldn't come down our street too often, to be honest. So, it was probably the murder capital of the world or country when I was there, growing up in the 80s, and we had curfews, we had, it toughened your skin, man, to say the least. So it toughened your skin, and it taught us that, there's two people in the world I trust, me and the other one ain't you, is my motto. And, if I wouldn't have done that, there's so many shady characters out there trying to get your money, trying to get you to do this. You trust one of them guys. So you learn to be the CEO because, those other guys will lead you down the wrong path, and they don't give two squirts about you. So, unfortunately, that's just how this dog-eat-dog world is, you know what I mean? So.
And then so back to when you go through high school age, you find you kind of officially make that right. You decide, I'm going to do sports. I'm going to kind of dedicate my life to that stuff. What did that look like? You went on to play football, and
still hard, man, because you're still going to do stupid things as a human.
Yeah.
Number one, we all do. You're still going to have hiccups. You're going to have bumps in the roads. I went to jail, man, after I made the right. You know what I mean? Yeah, did 18 months, man, and it cost me probably Division I scholarship. You know what I mean, out of high school. So it was just one of those deals where, you made the right and you're on the right path, but shoot, like they say, the devil lurks, man. I hit a hiccup, I hit a bump, and veered off a little bit, man, and took the temptation, man, and bit the apple, I guess, you know what I mean? And so it was one of those deals where, like, God damn, so let me get back on my tip, so to speak. And so, I had to get back right, but I had to take a lump and, take that scar and lump on your chin or whatever and learn from it. And, like I said, there's a chapter in my book, Hate Me Now, Love Me Later. It's called Live and Learn, and I think that's what we all do. And I think this is an experience-based life we live, you know what I mean? It's not based on a degree that you get. It's not based on some piece of paper. It's you can't do what we do solely on earning a degree, because it's just you couldn't do what you do. I mean, it's an experience-based, hands-on life we live. It's not based on intellect. It's based on being a good dude, going out and helping folks, and trying to win one day at a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So then what'd you do after you then take that, you do 18 months, you said?
Yeah.
So then now you're starting over. What do you do then? And the fact, I just want to point out the fact that didn't break you, because I think that happens a lot too,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen a million people choose the
stay
right
left.
path.
Yeah.
Something happens, bam. Oh, see, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah,
See, this
yeah,
is what,
yeah.
it's not my fault.
Excuses
That's what
is
happened.
a-
So
like-
how'd you recover from that? What'd you do?
You know, toughen your skin, man. I mean, it's time to pull up your big boy pants. You know what I mean? And I was and to answer your question, you know, what do I do? It's called JUCO, and it's junior college football. You know what I mean? And it's last chance, and you know, it's and that's why I think I'm as JUCO gets. My experiences, my upbringing, I think, has allowed me to be the way I am. Number one, where kids take what I tell them, and they take the yelling and screaming because they know at the end of the day, for every time I MF a kid, I give them a hamburger and a pat on the ass too. And they'll run through a wall for me because they know I'll also defend them against the refs and against the naysayers and against the haters, and because those are my babies, and I'm going to make sure that they're straight. They never have to worry. But at the same time, I'm going to teach them the harsh realities that the real world's going to hit them in the mouth in 18 months too.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be sweet nothings that's going to be whispered to you by your boss, by if you're late or if you miss, or that's why I didn't allow late and miss, and that's why I didn't allow you to sit in the back row, and those things, because every day is an interview, and it is a result-oriented business that we live in. So a lot of people think that, you know, you can just wake up and, you know, I've never had an alarm clock wake me up.
Ever?
Never in my life. Never.
What time do you get up?
5 o'clock. Yeah, so I've been that way forever, man. And I had a quote on my wall, man. If an alarm clock's the only reason you wake up, you know, Bobby Bruce couldn't wake up.
Yeah.
We had to send a guy to get him. And I'm just like, don't let an alarm clock be the only reason your ass wakes up. You know what I mean? And that's actually a Ray Lewis quote. He actually quoted it. We were together just a couple weeks ago, but he and I quoted that, man. And I've never had an alarm, man. I always woke up optimistically thinking, okay, what I got to do tomorrow to get better. You know what I mean? And whose ass am I going to kick tomorrow? And how we're going to attack this day. And that's what I fell asleep to, but I'd pop up thinking that shit.
Yeah.
So I never needed an alarm, even in high school, man. So it's just one of those things.
What do you wake up like? Because no matter what you do, that's hard to do. And what you do is really tough work.
Mm-hmm.
What do you wake up, like what's the bigger goal that you hope to accomplish? Is it the fact that you're turning these kids' lives around and giving them second chances? Is it, you know what I mean? Like, because you have to be driven by something pretty real to wake up like that.
Yeah, man. Wins and losses mean diddly shit to me. Just being honest, you know what I mean? Nobody's remembered. Do you know who won the junior college national championship last year?
Nope.
Nobody cares. You know what I mean? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. So, but you know who won the BCS national championship? You know what I mean? And Clemson beat the shit out of Alabama. Everybody's gonna remember that forever. Junior college, nobody cares about who won the national championship in junior college. So that's why my kids, I've sent 222 kids or whatever it is, Division I. Never had a kid get kicked out of that school. Never had a kid go to jail. I make my place harder than it is when they get to the Alabamas, Clemsons, Washington States, wherever they go, because of that reason. And you know, what drives me is getting those kids graduated, getting them scholarships, and making sure that they're not out robbing McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or working at McDonald's, for that matter. So, you know, 126 of my 220 plus kids have earned their bachelors. 26 of them have earned their masters. And those are stats I keep forever in my head, because that's what allows me to go to sleep at night, allows me to wake up in the morning, not wins and losses.
Yeah. So it's kind of like if you make it through your program, the rest
Make it
is
anywhere.
you can do.
Yeah, my kids ain't getting kicked out, and they're not pulling up soft and getting
Yeah.
cut by the Raiders, and
Yeah.
because they had a hamstring. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna run until you tear it off the bone, man. You know what I mean?
What so did you then after going to jail after going for 18 months, did you get into coaching pretty quickly after that?
No, man, that was high school. So I went back, and so I tried to get my stuff back together, and went to junior college. Found a mentor of mine named Cornell Ward, who was a street hustler from L.A. and really well known. And you know, he coached me up, man, and really in life, not playing. Even though he was a great coach, he taught me life. And So then became a junior college All-American, man. I thought I was going to Division I. I signed with the University of New Mexico, where Brian Urlacher was at the time, and had no Division I clock. So I had to go to Division II, and I go to Fort Hays State out in Kansas, and spent 2 years there, and then got a shot with the Chiefs and played over in Europe, played Arena League, and then did all that. And so now we're in the early 2000s, and then I decided, you know what, I don't want to be a player no more. I want to coach. I think that's what's going to drive me to help others. And so I started coaching early 2000s, and it's been 18 years since.
Got it. And was that, at that point, was that a hard transition for you to make, or was it already, you just felt yourself being more pulled?
It was easy.
Yeah.
Once I saw the politics of professional football and how it all played out, and I was just like, I lost the love of being a player.
Yeah.
And so I think the new renowned love was, okay, the renewed love of this thing was to help kids and coach it up. And I knew watching coaches, I was like, man, I could do better than that. Yeah. And so I started coaching, man. And my first job was a head job at my alma mater at high school. And I coached a kid by the name of Orlando Scandrick, who was a young kid. And, he ends up playing for me for a year and then transferred when I left and went back to college to coach. And then he's been in the league for 10 years plus. So it's been good. Been a good ride.
Yeah. Did you come out the gate with the same style that you have now? Yep. I came out the same way, man. All my buddies talk, and everybody asks, like, man, was this guy like that on film, or he's an actor, or what? And they're like, hell, that dude's been that way. He's never changed for nobody. So, it wasn't the cameras that ever were going to bother me. It was the microphone. I knew the microphone was going to be there. You know what I mean? And the cameras, I didn't even know they were there. And that's why the Greg Whiteley, the producer, was like, "You're the most unfiltered guy I've ever filmed in my 20 years." You know what I mean? But I've been that way the whole time, man, because I was a player's coach as an assistant, but I still got on their ass because I knew that my whole thing was to protect the head coach, even as a youngster. I tell these young coaches, man, your number one job is to protect the head coach. And what's that mean exactly?
That means, like, you shouldn't have your position. So say I'm the receiver coach. My receiver should never miss class, and then the head coach finds out. He should never smoke weed, and the head coach finds out. He should never go to jail, and the head coach finds out. He should handle all that stuff if something does happen, but it should never cross the head coach's desk. And he should be the loyal guy to the head coach and make sure that the head coach is protected in every facet there's possible out there as far as an assistant. And the good ones usually understand that, and they move on, and they end up becoming head coaches, you know what I mean? And I had a requirement, man, as an assistant. If when I interviewed them, I asked them all in the first question, do you want to be a head coach? And then if they said no, I hung up. So I want them to want my job, you know what I mean? And those are the ones that are driven to be successful. Same in your profession, I'm sure. So to speak.
How do you deal with, because even in my job, a big thing is it's really hard to find talent to come work for me, and then you kind of run into this thing where sometimes they can't fit the role and you got to let them go, or sometimes they get too good and leave. And it's this constant thing. Is it's like that in your world too? I would imagine.
So I got 17 coaches, Division I, Division II jobs in the 3 years there. Not only we sent 101 kids Division I, which is a national record, we sent 17 coaches to get bigger jobs. And that's what the definition of a coach is to get you where you could not get yourself. Coaching, players, whatever. But yeah, man, it's a turnover. It's a high turnover rate. We had probably 70 coaches plus come through there in 3 years. And it is what it is, man. It's result-oriented business. But I have a motto in there as a staff. I wrote it in my book, man. It's it ain't about me. It's about us. And you're only as good as your assistants. I don't care how good you are. You're not shit without them. And I'm not shit without my assistants and who do all the grunt work, so to speak, which we used to do to get. We all had me and you had a vision as the CEO or the management. We had a vision, and based on our whatever mission statement you want. I had a mission statement. I followed it, which led to me having a vision of this is what I wanted. And then there's a process. And you see the process, which was, seeing your vision being built. And then there's the outcome, man. And hopefully it's, if it ain't on your mind, it'll never be on your finger type of deal. And this was the outcome. And that's how it is. And, I think without a vision, without the process happening, you'll never have a positive outcome. You might have a negative one, But you got to have that mission statement that what's your goals, and it ain't about me, it's about us. You got to have a bunch of guys going the same direction at the same time.
Yeah. Do you have, like, 'cause a lot of people do this too. Do you have any, you read goals every morning, vision board, mission? How do you keep your mind constantly on that mission?
I'm a quote guy, and so I wrap our offices, and everything was wrapped with every single possibility of a quote, anything I could think of. And then next year, this past year that I was coming into this year,
Yeah.
I changed everything because of the shitty year we had and the bad nucleus that we had, and fired a bunch of coaches. I started over. We hired a good nucleus, had a good recruiting class, and I changed everything to character first.
Yeah.
And so we went with a character first motto, which was it entailed recruiting criteria. Like my coaches were not going to go in there and not know these 10 things.
Yep.
And these are the 10 things we were going to ask. Yep. And number one was like number 10, which was the hardest, the worst one is, bad body language. We weren't going to recruit you.
Yeah.
You had bad body language, I'm not recruiting you. Being a sayer and not a doer, I'm not going to recruit you. Yeah. There's these criteria that we had, and if they didn't meet those things, we were going to walk out the house and not recruit them. And so I think we had a better nucleus of kids coming in this year because of the character first motto that I preached to the staff from December through February.
Yeah.
And it was ingrained, and I think we were on our way. But unfortunately, I left.
Yeah. And then take me through, like, going from, so you start coaching, start finding your groove there. What's that road look like all the way up until, right before we started seeing you on TV, and how you established really your own thing and found your own lane? I mean, what once again, what is so cool to me and what I admire so much about you is you found what drives you. So there's a million ways to be a coach,
Sure.
but you found your place where you find purpose, you feel good about it. That's where you thrive. And you can see that on camera.
Yeah.
So what was that process of finding where even you fit?
I never gave a shit what anyone thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was going to be me regardless, man. That's who I am. I'm that way on the show. I'm off the show. I'm the same guy in the Staples Center, the big three last week. All those guys wanted to meet me, which was an honor to meet some of those guys. They all wanted to meet me. They were like, man, this is the coach. I'm like, damn, I didn't know the show was that well received. You know what I mean? But I'm the same guy, though. I'm never going to change. And I think that's what's my genuineness and my, harsh realities, I think, has made me the best recruiter in America. It's allowed me to be who I am, probably project well on film. Like everybody tells me, you're made for cameras. I'm like, shit, I ain't made for shit. I'm made for my bed. But, it's one of those deals where people look at you and be like, shit, man, there's no way this guy's like this all the time. And then the producer was like, man, he's literally that way, regardless if on film, off film, camera, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I never really thought about, what my niche was. You know what I mean? My niche was just me being myself, and it is what it is. What happens, happens. And,
But why do you think you ended up at junior college working with these kids? Because you were doing that before cameras.
Right.
Why?
That's who I am.
Yeah.
I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm as JUCO gets. It's the most rewarding level, period, to coach.
Yep.
D1 NFL, junior college is the most single rewarding level to coach, period.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy that thinks, see, if you ask all these guys, they're like, they'll be so fast to get out of JUCO to go Division I. Yeah. I need a D1 job. I never, I had offers, man, and I wasn't the guy to leave that fast. I was the guy. Of course, I'm not going to say I'm sitting here lying and saying, oh yeah, if USC called, I was going to say no.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, it had to be the right, absolute right job. It had to be the right fit, and it had to be the right situation. Like, I've never taken a job over where they were winners and life was, glitter and gold and rainbows. You know what I mean? My shit was always no weight room, no field, no track, no no offices, broken kids, no uniforms. Those were the jobs I've always taken.
Yeah.
So to me, coaches say they want to leave and jump JUCO and go D1. They think that the reward, to me, the reward outweighs the risk.
Yeah.
Those guys, it's the risk outweighs the reward.
Yeah.
And I I think it's the reward to me. I think it's the most rewarding level when you get what you want and get it all done, and you get through to it, and you build a weight room, you build offices, you build a brand new turf field, and get it donated and help and by some good people in town, and you get all that stuff done, and you become the best team in JUCO, and you do all these things in a team that hasn't won in 30 years. That's when all the blood, sweat, and tears. That's when you get yourself. It's self-rewarding. You're never going to get. It's a selfless job, man. It's you don't get rewarded by anybody. We make pennies on the hour, man. Even Nick Saban and them, man. The hours that we put in, you can make $9 million and still make pennies, man, because of the hours we put in. Yeah. So it's like, does the reward outweigh the risk? And in my profession, I'm as JUCO gets, and I think it does.
Yeah. And then what did it look like when, because the show, Last Chance U, became incredibly successful, incredibly well known. Now you're do you get recognized like walking down the street and stuff?
Oh man,
I would imagine,
it's
right?
Crazy, man.
And people must just like love you.
Yeah, I've never had a negative confrontation or anything in public. People have loved me. It don't matter where I go, man. I can go literally anywhere.
Yeah,
Indianapolis, Detroit. It doesn't matter, man. It's unbelievable. The only place really that don't like me is probably Independence, Kansas. So, those people are great, man, to be honest. But, there's just, you got to have some haters everywhere, you know what I mean? But never in public, never in person anyway. It's always the keyboard coward that wants to say who they are. And they're really fucking Johnny, but they're really Freddie from Phoenix. And I'm Johnny from Detroit. They make these names. But, it's always been love, man, everywhere I go. And I literally can't walk. San Diego, man, has been, they're like, Tulsa, Kansas City has been the two most, receptive. San Diego's right there, man. They love me in San Diego. I can't drive. I can't walk. It's crazy.
That's incredible.
It's crazy, man, how well the show is received, and it's global now. So
big time.
Everywhere, yeah.
And also I feel like it's crazy because Netflix, they put out a lot of content, and some stuff it seems like just kind of gets swallowed up by all the content. But man, that show really shined through. So what did it? I mean, when they came to, how did that even happen? Did they come to the school and they start?
After they called. A lady named Chelsea, great lady, man. She calls and she reaches out and was like, we're interested in you. Would you be interested in talking? And I got a voicemail. And we were in a staff meeting, and I went back and told the coaches, like, listen, man, this Last Chance U guys called. I never saw the show. I didn't know anything really about it. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch TV. I don't really do anything as a coach. So my coaches or my youngsters are like, man, it's a hell of a recruiting tool. Let's go. Yeah. My ass was like, man, first of all, East Mississippi never beat us in there over a kid, and they had the show. So I don't need no fucking show to be the best recruiter. Yeah. We're still going to get our kids. But I spoke to some mentors of mine, some different people, and I said, listen, came back the next day, and I said, who am I to take away a marketability platform like that for these young kids, coaches, and everybody alike? And so I said, look, if you want me, come get me. They came out and filmed me for 2 days or 3 days towards the end of spring ball and interviewed me every 5 seconds, man, went around with me, and Greg said he knew when he met me that it was a done deal. But how they found us was they go around doing all this recruiting research because they want to follow good kids, players. Not necessarily good kids. They want to find players, ballers. And they were like, man, they went down this thing and like, okay, Garden City has 2, East Mississippi has 5, Independence has 11. And I'm like, 11 what? They were like, 5 stars. And they were like, how the hell is Independence have 5 stars? So that's how they found me, who I was, bringing in these guys. So then they saw me and was like, oh shit, let's follow this crazy bastard around. So I guess that's how they did it.
That's crazy too, and so cool that it happened from sort of the stats as opposed to like, oh, we heard about this crazy dude, let's go find him. You know what I mean? Like to happen that way, I think is a lot better.
No doubt.
So then my biggest question, especially as I watch the show progresses, did it create a fucking nightmare for you with all these kids, and now there's cameras around, and then then the show becomes a hit, and now you have a season 2, and now kids are famous, and they got to be getting recognized, and they got to be hitting up girls and DMs. Yeah, I'm the guy from the show. I mean, that seems like for what you do, pouring a little bit of celebrity into that world would just be like horrible.
Yeah, man. JUCO is football jail, and that's what I call it, and that's what it is. You sprinkle some Beverly Hills shit in there, it just don't match. It don't mesh. And I think that's why we were so bad this past year. We had a horrible nucleus because everybody knew the cameras were coming back. Yeah. Man, we had about 60 to 100 kids show up on campus right the day of camp that we've never had prior touch with. Never prior engagement, never recruited them. We recruit our players, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had these dudes show up that simply, strictly wanted to be on film.
Yeah.
And what happened was they were all horrible. I mean, we got 5'8" dudes walking in talking about they play linemen. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You know who we have here.
Yeah.
And so take your ass home. And so, well, what happened is they all enrolled in college at the school. Well, by law, I couldn't kick them off campus. So they become a bunch of cancers in our dorm with our actual players. And now we've got a shit show of, fucking just, it only takes one bad apple to ruin the whole bunch.
Yeah.
And we had a shitload of them because they all want to be on camera. And we had girls coming to be on the show. Yeah. Everybody, man, every swinging dick you could think of was coming to the town to be on this show. And it was tough, man. And then the kids, our own kids, weren't mature enough to handle it. Not only the kids, man, the fucking coaches.
Yeah.
Had a bad batch of coaches. They weren't mature enough to separate themselves from the kids. Yep. I had to let guys go. And it was just a bad nucleus all the way around, man. And when you don't win 6 days out the week, what I like to call it, the seventh day, which is our game day, don't work out. Like it's just for you guys. I mean, you guys prep. I'm sure you don't do this. You do this every day?
No, once a week.
Once a week. So you're prepping 6 days out the week like I am. Yeah. And, those two guys go out and rob Walmart. It fucks your week up on game day, right? You know what I mean?
Big time.
And so that's what we did. We had kids robbing, stealing at Walmart, smoking weed, not going to study hall on time, doing this, doing that. And usually my teams have won the 6 days, and seventh day takes care of itself. We lost 6 days. And I told them, you don't deserve to win a fucking game on day 7. You lost all the other days. You know what I mean? You just don't deserve to win it. And you can see by the scores that we lost by 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 3 points. We were the clear-cut favorite as far as talent-wise. We had the most talent. Yeah. But there's nothing worse in this world, man, than a waste of talent. So,
yeah, I'm sure you see that a lot. It just seems almost impossible. It seems almost impossible to have, especially at that age, have a hit show and an actual good team doing what it takes to do it. You know,
they have not filmed the national champ yet. So they haven't filmed the national champ yet.
Yeah, I don't even know.
They filmed East Mississippi. They lost 1 and 2 games. Yeah. We lost 2. Yeah. Our best year. Last year we were shitty. We'll see how this year does. Yeah. They're out here in Cali up north, but it's hard, man. It's hard. And it starts with coaches. I mean, you got young coaches there you need to have, and they struggle. Teachers struggle. Everybody. Yeah. You know how it is, man. You got a camera in your face that's got hundreds of millions of views. Yeah. Like Last Chance U does. They're making billions of dollars on this deal. So
yeah. And what about so when the show comes out now, I'm sure that there's this whole new, like you said, not in person, but online, I'm sure in articles, stuff like that, this whole new wave of criticism of your style. How did you treat that mentally, and how did you not bend to, you know what I mean? To okay, well, now I understand I got to be tough, but now I'm on this show, so I'm gonna, put in some lullabies. Like, how did you stay so dead solid on your style?
Because I am who I am, man. I wasn't gonna change. I didn't give a shit what they thought. I'm telling you, man, that shit makes my dick hard when the motherfuckers hate on me.
Really?
It makes my dick hard, man. I'm just being honest. I love it because that means they're stopping selling donuts at Dunkin' Donuts with their fat asses to hate on me. Yeah. You know what I mean? The naysayers, man, the ones you see and you find, if you do some research and find out, okay, let me find out who this motherfucker is hating on me. Yeah. They absolutely do diddly shit for anyone else. Yeah. They sit there, they eat donuts, they sell donuts, whatever they do, and they don't have any interest in helping any other human being but themselves. Yeah. And then they judge you off of 16 hours of footage. And I've been filmed 6,000 hours, but I'm getting judged for 16 hours like they know you and they know your ins and outs. And it blows my mind. I tell everybody that grown folks can actually do that and take an opinion and talk about someone's profession which blows my mind that they have no clue about the intricacies that go into 17 to 20-hour days with these kids.
Yeah.
They don't show on the show though. They don't show me consoling and holding this Kalen Davis, KD, on the show because his sister just died and his brother just got shot, and I'm trying to keep him from going home so he don't die.
Yeah.
And let's get his ass graduated, and then guess what? He graduates, goes to Arkansas State, he starts, and he'll have a shot at least to make money or get a degree and help his mother out.
Yeah.
Or he could have went home and died and been fucking buried.
Yeah.
And so they don't show any of that, which is unfortunate. And they don't show those type of things. And you know, I was gonna stay my course because it was about the kids. It ain't about what some fucking slapdick thinks about me because I yell at some kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those kids know because you ain't seen them bash me on Twitter.
Yeah.
You ain't seen one kid ever fucking bash me.
Yeah.
And it's been 19 years. You know what I mean? That's what makes me sleep at night. It doesn't matter about, because I owe nobody nothing. You know what I mean? I owe not one person anything. I owe those kids, those coaches, and as long as I do right by those guys, at least tell them the truth and what I'm doing, allows me to sleep at night. There's all these other cats outside don't know any, and I've invited them. I invited them to come see what we do.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it. They don't want to come. You know what I mean? And you know, these media people, you got these newspaper guys out there that never even met me, but are just bashing me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those deals, and it's just comical, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, the truth will set you free.
Yeah. I just feel like so much of it has to be from how you came up. And that world being so, like, you either kind of have this mentality or you get caught up in it. You know what I mean?
You drag or you get drugged.
Yeah,
You know what
man.
I mean?
It's wild.
You know, big fish eat little fish, man. And there's, you know, in LA, man, inner city, I mean, shit, you know, even the hardest dudes get drugged through the mud, man. And, you know, it's a dog-eat-dog world, man. You either gonna, you know, you should shit or get off the pot. You know what I mean? I mean, it's one of those deals, like I said, it's result-oriented. Nobody cares. I tell kids all the time, tell coaches, like, how many times you been in a car with an ambulance behind you and you pull over, man, and when they passes you fucking get right behind it, you start driving again, right? Yeah. Nobody questions who's in the ambulance, why. It's the same, man. I tell kids all the time, you'll be surprised who shows up at your fucking funeral. You'll be surprised when you have trouble and you call that dude for $20, who will answer the phone.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised on those type of things. You'll be totally shocked, man. And but you just gave the same dude $20. You just gave the same dude a ride. You just got the dude out of jail, and you'll be shocked that they never even help you back. And it's because nobody cares. That's why I teach these kids, man, who have no dad. 200 kids I had, just so you know, 2 of them had their both parents in the home.
Yeah.
2 kids out of 200.
Yeah.
So they have no father figure. And so when I get them and I give them these truth realities and I'm motherfucking them and I'm telling them the truth, even though I love them and they'll find that out later, but in the beginning they don't know. Like, who's this crazy fucking white dude yelling at me, right? But at the end of the day, the ones that figure it out and find out, they know they'll run through a wall for me because they know I'll run through a wall for them and give them my shirt off my back. But at the end of the day, you know, they combat and they fight you because they don't have a male role model and they don't know what a male is supposed to do.
Yeah.
So biologically speaking, to all the great mothers out there that raise their sons, man, it's just impossible biologically to raise a son like a dad would.
Yeah.
And right, wrong, or indifferent. There's some shitbird dads out there, and there's some great ones that don't get a shot to raise their kids. Yeah. It goes both ways, unfortunately, but males usually need some male interaction growing up. So they can teach males how to treat women down the line. So they can treat, you know, there's so much different shit. And that's why when I tell a kid that have no clue, you know, if I ask a kid, man, and I might ask you and you don't know, you know, I tell a kid, hey, man, I got a map. Show me where Kenya is.
Yeah.
They don't know because they only know what they know and don't know what they don't know. Yeah. Nobody taught them. And, you know, I ask my kids every time I coach and I have a team meeting, I said, raise your hand if you have a mother. They all raise their hand. I said, then I better not ever fucking hear the word bitch come out your mouth. Yeah. And not around a woman anyway. And if you got a sister or a kid or a daughter, you know, and that really resonates. That you look at like, shit, I didn't think about it. But nobody taught them that shit. So they say bitch and hoe and all this shit like it's like crazy. Yeah. But they don't know like it's detrimental to your future, man. Yeah. Like every day's an interview. You're saying those words on the field. And I got Nick Saban out there recruiting you. Yeah. He ain't fucking recruiting you. Yeah. You lost $100,000 scholarship because every day's an interview. and we teach the harsh realities that you're going to be a good human being around me. You know what I mean? And at least hopefully it sits in, and those guys end up going and making it. And so far, I've sent a lot of them. I've saved a lot of them.
Yeah. I think that's what really blows my mind about you is you have this like harsh, like this is reality, no one gives a fuck, like blah, 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 but also are so driven. You get out of bed every morning at 5 a.m. with no alarm clock, right? It just seems kind of like most people either are like this, that I meet at least, are this like wake up early, everything's positive, let's be nice to everyone, all right? Or everything, no one gives a shit about you, life is rough, and you sleep in till 2 p.m. It's like you are this perfect combination of like, here's the harsh reality of life, but for some reason you're so optimistic.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No
like
doubt.
It's so harsh and real and brutal, but also so optimistic. It's really interesting.
You a shrink?
Yeah, I think so, man.
Man, no, that's true.
That's wild.
It's my upbringing, man. Being optimistic comes from like seeing cats get smoked right in front of me on my front lawn when I'm growing up, or getting shot in my arms at my buddy's liquor store, getting his head blown off right on my arms, and I got brain matter on my face. Yeah, like that shit right there has made me optimistic that there's better shit out there. Waking up driven is because I seen all that same shit, and I'm like, I'm not gonna wake up at 2 and miss half the day and half my life. I'll sleep when I die. But having the drive to get out of seeing that cat get smoked in front of me, you know what I mean, and those type of things, and then not seeing that be one of my babies that I coach or that I recruit. And not, letting them see the Beverly Hills life, at least have a shot at it. At least have a shot at it. Yeah. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon, man. I try to tell them, but at least have a shot at having that. Some people, they don't even get that shot because ignorance is life threatening. That's a chapter in my book, and I think it truly is, man. And I think you know what you know. You don't know what you don't know, and if you're not taught something by somebody, or if you're not teaching those kids, fuck, shame on you. You know what I mean? Because that's what we have right now. We have a lot of enabled kids out there it's not their fault, man. They know what they know. You know what I mean? It's being allowed, it's being taught, and it's being we're kissing their ass, and these kids need discipline, man, regardless, and they actually yearn for it. They just don't know it. Yeah. And then you have to teach them that, and that's missing right now, man. In this young generation, especially in the football world or in athletics, period. Yeah.
I think too, like the reason why this content resonates with so many people, right? Because the amount of people that are watching Last Chance U, it's not just football fans, right? No. And the reason why I think it resonates to a lot
of women, man. A
lot
of
exactly.
women reach out and just.
And here's why I think is because I'm a firm believer that there's a lot more people that need coaches than young football players, right? There's a lot of people that are searching for like, gosh, someone show me the way.
Teacher,
even college is starting to kind of fail people and all these different things. And I feel like more than ever, even podcasts like this are doing so well because people are looking for guidance. And I think that when you see the transformations that happen on the show and you see a kid with all this adversity and be turned around by that toughness, they want someone to yell at them the way that you yell at those kids, right?
No doubt.
And they wish, because they see the outcome. My question is, if you could, it's a pretty big question, but if you could sort of tell everyone something that you think all these people watching Last Chance U, all these people are sort of missing or could benefit from, is there anything you see that's lacking that could be there? Like, I feel like if you could just go work with people, business people, all sorts of people for a month and have your same technique, everyone's lives would get better. It's not just football.
No doubt. And I've had a bunch of Fortune 500 company people reach out to me because they read my book.
Yeah,
they're taking on certain things, like I say in the business. I say it ain't about me, it's about us. That's our motto. And some CEOs are like, man, I'm adopting that. I'm using it. Yeah. And hopefully they fucking pay me. But no. So it's I mean, if I had one thing to tell them, man, the truth hurts, man. And I'm gonna write a second book too, man. But you know, it's the harsh realities, man, that these kids don't understand. But you know, I think not putting the future in someone else's hands is the biggest thing, because these kids don't know better. Like, they don't have a clue. But it's the grown folks that don't know, because they're not teaching them that, and they're teaching them. Anything we do, it demands and requires a consequence. I don't give a shit what we do. You get pulled over, you're gonna get a ticket. If you're late, you're gonna get fired, or you're gonna get reprimanded, or at the least. Everything has a consequence. So I teach these kids. I'm telling these coaches to teach these kids, man. Like, no, it's okay. Pat them on the ass when they walk in late. It ain't okay, because it's result-oriented business. You're setting them up for failure. And you are enabled them. You just enabled the kid. And now he thinks it's fucking okay to be late anytime. Not only, you might be the only male in his fucking life. So now when the mom says be home for dinner at 6 and he's home at 7, and she's like, why are you late? Because you fucking just enabled him's ass. And they don't know that it's kind of like a generational curse, man. It kind of just trickles down. So, you know, it starts with us, man, as grown folks and as teachers and coaches and mentors, and it starts, the mother can only do so much. And I know I'm speaking towards a inner city demographic, because that's what I do, but which is 90% single mothers, you know what I mean? And it's tough on them. They're working 2 jobs, got a couple kids maybe. It's hard to, they're trying to balance their older son that's trying to play football and chase girls and do all this shit for the first time, you know what I mean? And the single mother only knows so much, or can only do so much. And so, you know, I think being a CEO, not putting your future in someone else's hands, man, and teaching that as a society now, because I think we're more obese than ever as a nation. We're lazy as shit. You know, everybody knows everything now. Back in the day, we couldn't question a fucking thing from a coach. Nowadays is, no, we couldn't do that shit. Like, shut the hell up. So it's just changed, man. And it ain't, the kids haven't changed. We're allowing that shit to happen. And, you know, it's just one of those deals, man. But I think we've allowed a soft-ass culture, and, you know, soft-ass creates hard heads, man.
Where do you go from here? What's next for you?
Don't know, man. I don't know. You know, wish in one hand, shit in the other one, see what fills up first, man. I'm trying to, you know, I do the book tour deal. I'm starting to do pretty soon. I'm doing speaking engagements here and there. So book me, man. I'm trying to do.
Would love to.
I'm going all over the country to do those type of things.
That's
you know?
huge.
Talking to, you know, like Pat McAfee was bringing me out to talk to his group, just to get his guys kind of riled up in Indianapolis. So, you know, different things that I'm doing, man, talking to a couple big oil companies in Boston and some people like that. But I've been speaking to probably 15, 20 high schools the last few weeks. And I'm just doing those things right now, man, even clinic and coaching staffs. I've been doing that. But, you know, stay in the mix of mentoring and helping coaches and kids out alike. But as far as coaching right now, I have no burning desire to coach right now. And if someone asked me, I said, no, I don't want to right now. You know, I'm never going to be a hypocrite, man. So I've always told people, if you can't figure out these young kids, and if you can't figure out what makes them tick, then you need to do something else. Not that I can't figure them out and make them tick. I know I can do that. But it's just one of those deals where maybe I'm not the guy for these guys no more. Maybe they're just too enabled for me right now. Maybe another generation will come and figure it out. But as of right now, I don't have a burning desire. But we'll see what when I hit the stop sign, which way I go. You know what I mean? I got to figure it out. But
I also just feel like you have the ability now. You know, if the main driver is sort of affecting people's lives and giving them opportunity and whatever, like, because of your style and because of the platform that the show has, like, you have the ability to affect a lot more people. With speaking and podcasts. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's something to really. A
lot of people, man. Like, me and Rapport are close, and we talked about podcast stuff, and everybody's talking about it. I just don't know if that's for me. I mean, I could. A lot of people think, oh, you could be an announcer and all this shit. I mean, it's cool, but you know, nobody's offered me a job. You know what I mean? It's just one of those deals, man. It's all who you know. It ain't what you know. You know how that is. But it's just like coaching is overrated to me, man. Coaches lose games. Players win games. Every game in the history of football, I think basketball, baseball, I think players have always won them.
Yeah.
I think coaches lose games. I don't think coaches actually win games. But the coach or the teacher actually gets the kid to go to class, start before the line, in after the line, finish through the line, pull up their pants, do all the little shit that's going to be required so you don't jump off sides in the game. And so you don't. So we give you the tools to be successful, but end of the day, the best player usually wins. You know what I mean? And that's comes down to recruiting and doing your thing. And, you know, I'm sure you got the best soundboard guy if your show's going to be better than the guy that's got the shitty guy. I mean, it's just one of those deals, and I think it's about me. It's not about me. It's about us. And, you know, I think it's goes back to being a result-oriented business, and we have to, you know, nobody cares, man, who finishes second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The winner gets the prom queen, man. The loser has his fucking hand at night.
That's it. Okay, my last two big questions. If you could hop in a time machine, go anywhere in your life and tell yourself anything, where would you go and what would you say?
Where would I go? Shit, man. I'd probably go somewhere, man, where, you know, I always tell, you know, I never regret nothing in my life. So I always look, because it's the true statement here, man. I've taken, I got pulled over. I took my rearview mirror out of my car. California, it's illegal, obviously. And I'm going to do it on the next job I get. But I took a rearview mirrors out, man, and I said, fuck this. I'm not ever going to look in the rearview mirror and look back again. Yeah. It deters me from fucking looking ahead. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's going to be, I'm going to brand that shit somehow. I don't know. But so I never wanted to go back. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've always thought, okay, I'll never lose. I'll win or I'll learn. And that's just how I have always been. And so now I'm going to always look forward to the next thing, but by learning what I did wrong or whatever. So if I could go back, I mean, I'd probably went back just to my youth and said where I didn't get caught doing some stupid shit and go to jail. And I'd probably go Division I. Who knows? I'm probably a draftable guy, and it could be a different seat right now. Yeah. But again, I think it's fate, and I wouldn't have helped 220 kids either, and I wouldn't have helped those guys either. So it's all, I think shit happens for a reason, man. I think life figures its way out no matter what it goes through. Yep. And I think it always has, it always will. And it's like, you know, the humans in the world, I think, are kind of like coaches. We're fucking it up. We're not helping it. But the earth is like the players. It'll figure itself out, and it'll win or lose. You know what I mean? And you know, I think that we have a shot at, you know, getting this thing turned around as coaches and as mentors and stuff. But we got to put our foot down, man. And you know, as a young coach, I could have went back in time and been a little different as a youngster too, as a coach. But I don't know if it would put me in any different spot to this day. You know what I mean? I mean,
you ended up in a pretty good spot.
Yeah. So we're helping kids out.
Yeah. Okay. And then last one is, if you could prescribe anything to the whole world for 30 days and they have to follow it, what would you tell everyone to do? Truth
serum.
Yep.
Give some motherfuckers some truth serum, man, so they quit lying to these kids or themselves. Yep. I would tell everyone, man, to be true for 30 days to everyone you come in contact with, but more importantly yourself, man. Be true to yourself and see if some shit changes for the worse or for the better in 30 days. You know what I mean? If I gave you truth serum right now and said, you know, would you rather be here or would you rather be in Marina Del Rey with your studio? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you got to ask those questions, because I know all these people out in Playa del Rey that are doing the same type of shit, and we're like, oh man, I wanted it in Hollywood, and then found out that wasn't the place, man. Yeah, now they're back in fucking, like my management team, like they're out there, and they're like, man, we were in Hollywood where the big boys were, and it wasn't working out. Yep. I don't know if people are truthful with themselves, man, because I think they lie to themselves. And guess what, man? Every time you lie, you have to fucking lie to cover up the other lie. Yeah. And it turns into lie. And I think it trickles down to telling these kids and these babies and all these other people you come in contact with lies. Yeah. And so I don't think we're true with ourselves, man, as a society no more, especially coaching world. I think parents, I think we're lying to ourselves, and I think it's hurting these babies in this generation. So I would have to say truth serum, man. Everybody be truthful and tell people how it is and tell yourself how it is, and see if we can gain or profit out of it in 30 days. Risk versus reward.
Yeah. There it is, man. I can't thank you enough. That
I
was
appreciate
really
it, man.
great. Thanks for everything you
Appreciate
do. Thanks for the honesty,
Yeah, no doubt.
on the screen, and I know you're going to
No
continue
doubt.
to give us that.
No doubt.
And thanks for coming
Definitely.
through.
Anytime, brother.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you. Yep. Definitely.
Thank you, man.
No doubt.
Guys, if you like that and you want to see more like it, as well as vlogs, other web series, and all the random stuff that I'm doing here on YouTube, don't forget to click that subscribe button. You won't regret it. I promise.